Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the last day of the NALCS Spring Split. I'm Remington Bisson III, along with Joshua Jat Leishman, and it all comes down to this. After today's 8 huge matches, we'll know who will be battling for the Spring Split Championship in next week's playoffs, and which teams will be fighting for their LCS lives in the Summer Promotion Tournament. Yesterday, teams came out firing for their spots in the LCS postseason.
And the first day was mostly upsets, but yesterday there were not many surprises. And because of the action yesterday, the playoff picture is actually starting to take some shape.
Absolutely. But don't take our word for it. Take a look at the highlights for yourselves.
The first game of the day was a battle for 6th place. The winner between the 8-15 Vulcan and the 8-16 Team Marn would take control of the final playoff spot. It was a disastrous start for Team Marn when their failed Lantern gank resulted in Mandatory Cloud's Rise securing a triple kill.
It's dance time coming from Vulcan. They could turn this one around. Niantanzo goes down on the outside. Mandatory Cloud has teleported in for this one. Picks up a double kill, looking for the triple kill.
Vulcan read that Thresh gank like a book.
A fed Rise with a teleport is a very scary thing.
Heartbeat doesn't really even get to put down the box to be effective. Clinky D follows after. Zuna is cleaning up this fight with Mandatory Cloud. Mega Zero just on the outside. The Rune Prism, he is forced to defensively taunt away, but he may be locked up on dance time. One last shot, the feint goes on, and it looks like they make it out 3-0.
A cascade of good moves put Vulcan on the brink of victory when Zuna emphatically closed the door with a quadra kill.
Double kill coming in for Zuna, triple kill coming in for Zuna. Can he get another one? The one goes to Mandatory for the 4th. A quadra kill for Zuna coming in. The win 19-7 at 40 minutes over Marn.
And in this battle for 6th place, after having 2.5 weeks off to prepare, Vulcan came up big.
What we really wanted was to make sure we won or beat GGU and Marn.
The stakes were high for TSM in the second game of the day, as a victory would give them the most wins in the LCS. Just when it looked like Wild Turtle was going to get a little too wild, Reginald's Requiem was there for the save.
Low MIA trying to turn this one around. Brunchu gonna go down from Reginald. That presence from mid. MIA takes a turret shot, and he won't be able to finalize the kill. A double kill for Reginald in the end.
Team Solo mid just kept pushing, and another well-placed Requiem from Reginald would lead to an ace.
Here he throws it down. Now MIA stop backing. He does eventually go down, but it's the Wild Turtles. He gets himself in the fight there. Triple kill coming in for Reginald.
TSM just completely rolled through Complexity there. They are so strong, and TSM might be making that move for the #1 spot.
As you get towards playoffs, you're going to see a lot more stuff that you haven't really seen from TSM.
Coming off a loss to TSM earlier, Team Marn took on the 18-6 Curse. Voyboy's teleport to bot lane backfired as Niantanzo was able to turn it around for a kill.
So the teleport comes in from Voyboy, a good quick burst, but Voyboy taking so much that Dravenall just cleanly rides through and back through the team. Voyboy has wasted everything on that fight, and he goes down.
This game featured a new look for Cobb, and his Ash arrows were on point.
Here looks like it's going to be hitting Mega Zero. Gets him on the right side of the cheek there. Voyboy looks to aggress on this as well. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 punch. Unstoppable force required, but they bring him back in as he tries to throw in the towel.
The 7th punch is the one that got him in.
At 31 minutes, a Baroned Up Curse win a decisive 3-for-1 exchange at Marn's inhibitor.
They're able to focus Mega Zero. St. Vicious goes to the back line, and nobody can follow Mega up to the fight. Great control there by Curse on it. They lock down Echo as well. The auto attacks to take him down. Heartbeat is going to make it out as he gets hit. Frosted down, but it's going to be the inhibitor. Curse looks to take control of his base.
And like they have done throughout the season, Curse pulled out the comeback win.
Curse stays in first.
And that was a good comeback for them. Well played.
Carrying a 4-game losing streak into their match against Curse, Dignitas were facing a must-win game, as the 5th loss in a row would eliminate any possibility of a 2nd place finish. Dignitas were clicking early, and coordinated flips from Volibear and Singed gave them first blood.
They've got Crumbs as well. They don't quite go for the double flip just yet. It's Elements getting knocked back into basically nothing. They're going to find that kill. Kiwi gets Ben ignited. Will it be enough? They don't. It's a 1-for-0 to Dignitas.
At 33 minutes, Dignitas blew up St. Vicious, causing Curse to lose a 3-1 exchange.
They flip in Nightjackie on top of the enemy team, though Scar's not going to like this one very much. Voyboy running in for Cutie Pie, finds Crumbs as well. Scar runs in onto Cobb, almost wins the fight, but they get that kill. Voy, though, still stuck inside of Dignitas' team. He's going to fall 3-for-1 in this fight, and Dignitas just going to turn right over towards Baron Nashor.
Dominating the entire game, Dignitas forced Curse into one last Hail Mary attempt.
Curse going for the Bush Gambit right here. It's going to be Kiwi Kid that checks it.
Go on, Caitlyn.
Build a tank line.
I'm killing Kiwi.
Going on.
Eve in the back.
He's in the back of Cup.
Going in.
Cup getting chased down by Scar. Scar has the Zonia's. Cup is still alive, but they found 2 kills so far. Requiem comes across. Cup still alive. He will fall down now. Dignitas still have 4 members alive, and only St. Vicious remains. That's the kill. Ace picked up for Dignitas.
And that will be the surrender from Curse.
Dignitas hold their top 2 finish hopes alive, and Curse were #1 for most of the season. They're slipping it now.
Here's where the teams stand heading into our final regular season matches. TSM has a piece of the first place pie for the first time all season. Curse is tied with Reginald and Crew in the top spot, while Dignitas is sitting in 3rd.
CLG has 4th place locked down, while Vulcan and GGU are tied for 5th, and finally in last place, Martin Complexity.
And those last 4 teams will be feeling the pressure today with their playoff lives at risk in every match they play.
In this battle for 6th place, Vulcan came up big.
Top 6 as a team means that you have a chance of not dropping into promotion relegation, but most importantly, it keeps the dream alive of coming in first in the spring split.
If we don't get a 6th place spot, it's a lot more pressure on us to qualify for the next season. We have 1 less chance to qualify, which is a huge deal.
The importance of being 6 instead of 7 is you don't necessarily have to replay for your spot. There's a chance that you can bypass that whole tournament and just be made in the sun already.
If we don't get to 6th place and we are stuck in the bottom 2, we are automatically not in the playoffs and we go to the relegation matches.
The 8th seed will play the winner of the top amateur team versus a team from the ranked 5s ladder. So 8th seed is most likely going to be playing Quantic Gaming, who's actually a really strong amateur team and would have a legitimate shot of knocking a team out of the LCS.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous.
I'm not feeling the pressure just yet, but maybe it'll hit me come the day before and whatnot.
You've got 5, 6, 7, and 8 all still up for grabs. The only team that's secure is CLG in 4th. Everything else can lose it or gain it.
Well, being in 4th place is much better than 7th and 8th. You don't want to have to play relegations.
Vulcan and Giga University want to pick up at least 1 win to put themselves in top 6 because they don't want to fight the top challenger teams. They don't want to risk losing their jobs. They want to at least get the extra crack at it and fight in the playoffs and maybe get an upset win over Counterlogic Gaming or Team Solo Mid.
We just need 1 more win so we get a guarantee shot at the playoffs for being top 6.
Being in control of our destiny is pretty good for us. So it's pretty much like game of our lives.
The game is really important because right now the bottom 3 teams are catching up to us and a lot of them are only 1 win away from beating us.
Ideally, I think we still have a shot at 6th, but it's more out of our hands than in our hands.
Well, I think we're still 7th place, so moving up 1 standing would be huge.
If we go in 7th and 8th, then we could potentially lose our jobs.
It's not a good moment for anybody. You want to know that your job is secure.
It's really, really important that we get to 6th place.
Every team just has to put up everything right now. There's 2 games left for any single team. 2 matches that are make and break. Going 2-0 versus 0-2 versus 1-1. That all changes where you stand in the final showdown. So you've got to win as many games as possible.
And like Freak said, coming into today, all 4 bottom teams are still mathematically alive for the playoffs and in danger of dropping into Summer Promotion Tournament. Here's how it breaks down now. Curse, Team Solo Mid, and Dignitas, Team Solo Mid, Dignitas, and CLG are guaranteed playoff spots. Curse and TSM can lock down a top 2 finish and a playoff bye with either a win or a Dignitas loss. Dignitas can't finish any lower than 3rd, but they'll need to win both games today and have Curse or TSM lose both games to sneak into the top 2.
And CLG is locked into the 4th seed. No matter what happens today, they'll play the 5th place team in the first round of next week's playoffs. Either Vulcan or GGU could still finish 5th in the standings, and either a win by them or losses by Marn and Complexity guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. Marn and Complexity are still alive, but they're on life support. They need to win both of their games and have GGU or Vulcan lose all of their games today to earn a spot at the playoffs.
And in case of a tie for any of the playoff spots, we will have bonus LCS action tonight at the end of our 8 regular matches, so no matter what, when you log off tonight, you will know the complete playoff picture. So with that in mind, let's take a look at today's matches. Kicking things off, it's Marn versus Counterlogic Gaming, then Curse battles Complexity.
Next, TSM faces off against GGU, and then Dignitas takes on Vulcan.
Plus, Good Game University battles Counterlogic Gaming, then Dignitas faces off against Team Solo Mid.
Up after that, Complexity takes on Marn, and finally, it's the final game of the spring split, probably Vulcan versus Curse.
Probably. We'll see. And as always, you can predict today's winners by going to lolesports.com.
Just click on the matches at the top right, go to Week 10, and vote away.
All right, and that brings us to today's Twitter question. With the first ever League of Legends All-Star game right around the corner, we wanted to ask you guys, what nickname would you give the North American All-Star team and why? For example, the winning team in WCG 2011 was called Chicks Dig Elo, or you could go with something like our producers came up with, an example, Counterlogic Curse of the Solo Mid Dignitas.
So hit us up on Twitter at LOL Esports and be sure to use the hashtag LCS. We'll be checking in on the answers all day and reading the best ones live on air.
Absolutely. When we come back, the last day of the North American Super Week kicks off with Marn fighting for their playoff lives against Counterlogic Gaming. Don't go anywhere.
winning and losing is just a roller coaster of emotion. LCS format, best of ones, create this very, very big pressure on every game. Everyone gets to see the emotions of the players. It's like heartbreaking sometimes. You see some of the players, you're like, don't even want to shake their hands because it's just horrible to lose. There are players who are so excited for a comeback victory, like GGU. They're able to pull out all these like strong emotions, and that's what I'm really feeling is like accumulate up to like a big explosion.
Welcome back to Week 10 of the NALCS live from Los Angeles. It's time to kick off the action with our first match of the day, Martin versus Counterlogic Gaming. And while CLG has locked down a 4th place finish in the LCS, Martin needs a win with this match or they're out of the playoffs and in the summer promotion tournament.
And so far this season, Martin has had CLG's number. They've won 2 of the 3 matches, and according to MegaZero, they've won because of one thing: preparation.
I feel like it's mostly just like we're really ready for these games when we go against CLG. We really plan them out. We go over their old videos. We look at their level 1. We look at their common picks, their common bans. We're just really prepared to go against them.
And really, MegaZero and Martin used all that preparation to upset CLG in Week 9.
And MegaZero's Riven in that win was so key. He went 8-1-8 as Riven against CLG, and there were some ridiculous team fights in that game for Martin. Martin was really just outplaying CLG throughout that match.
But Doublelift is on fire this week, and he hasn't died in the last 2 games.
Exactly. 13-0-11 versus Dignitas and Vulcan in those last 2 games. And because everyone talks about Doublelift being the threat for CLG,
yeah,
clearing out there, it's already thinking of all-star team names. And it was just a matter of, can he carry? He's got to carry. He has been when they win. And if he doesn't carry, they usually lose.
Well, it's kind of like a focus point for both teams now. It's MegaZero carry or Doublelift carry.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And that's what it brings us to. The lineups on the blue side today, we have Marn. MegaZero in the top lane, Claky D in the jungle, Echo in mid, me and Tonso on AD, and Heartbeat on support.
And on the red side, it's CLG with Hotshot GG in top, Chowster in the jungle, Link in mid, Doublelift on AD, and Aphromoo on support.
So we've seen in Champion Select these guys try to push each other around before. Last time, Chowster was on Maokai. A few previous games when these guys met up, MegaZero was on Aurelia, and we've seen Aurelia a few times in the LCS, but they have pushed each other trying to find out who is going to be the worst off when they ban against the champion pools.
And I wonder if they're just going to try to target Chowster again, because that's been the successful one, right? We've seen Dignitas trying to ban out Doublelift in their game when they banned out 380 carries, and he ended up playing very well in Ezreal. Yeah. In these last few games of Super Week, they usually pick like one person and then try to ban him out right away. And if the Cho'Gath is banned straight off by Marn, it actually looks like both teams are going to be trying to ban out top laners, so it could get a little scarce up there.
The top laner, that mid poke from Nidalee. Twisted Fate I expect to see coming out here as well with the Riven, the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath kind of works for both Mega and Hotshot, but they don't want it in the hands of Hotshot for that push. They also take away his Shen push.
This is really curious, Riv, because there are so many bans coming out just for the top laners, right? Like, potentially Nidalee is a mid lane ban.
Right.
But Shen and Cho'Gath are actually things that MegaZero has played before, but they're actually banning those out for Hotshot. Renekton and Riven are straight banned at MegaZero. So that is potentially already 4 bans right at MegaZero, even if Marn wasn't intending it that way.
The Malphite ban coming out. The Rumble may see some play here. The Twisted Fate is the first locked in, though.
So even though there's all the bans for top lane, they don't see any immediate threat here, and they just wanted to get the Twisted Fate. I mean, Link can be a threatening player there. He still has the Lux available, even though she receives some nerfs in this 3.5 balance patch that we're playing on. But the Twisted Fate will potentially give Marn a little bit of momentum and at least takes that control away from CLG, because in a couple of the games that CLG's won recently, they did the Amumu jungle with the Twisted Fate mid, and it just gave them really potent ganks every time those ultimates were off cooldown and they went in. For CLG's slow play style, it's something to take away from them.
And you see Doublelift calling for the his safest of picks, his favorite Vayne mechanics, and that really helps you already against the TF. You see the cards poured in, you can tumble away, so he's keeping himself on that backline already.
And I really do like those 2 picks from CLG, mainly because the last time they played, they didn't have either of those. Me and Thompson took Vayne away,
that's true,
and Heartbeat took Sona away. And when CLG's played well, they generally have Sona. Aphromoo Sona is actually really, really impressive, and there's 2 of the best Vayne players in all of North America in that game. So honestly, just like last time, they're kind of stealing each other picks away as best as they can, because Claky D with the Jarvan as well is for Chowster.
Martin's found a good high priority picks here, though. They grabbed the Thresh, they now have the TF, and really Jarvan has been one of the contested picks of jungle as of late with the aggression coming out in Season 3 here. So they are high-class picks right now to a lot of, obviously, high class for CLG, but we're going to see if Link goes with his high-class Lux or he's feeling our Ahri here.
I really wonder what he's going to be swapping around here, too, at the last minute. And the more you think about it, the more similar these teams' champion pools actually are. Because Chowster has probably played just as much Jarvan as Claky D in any of this. Maybe Hotshot GG is going to go with something like Jax here if he eventually goes to it. I don't see him picking it too early. He is almost out of champions to play, right? They completely banned out him, as well as Marn banning out Mega Zero. So I really want to see how they top lane match up here, and really who breaks first with what they're going to end up picking, because if Hotshot goes Jax here, that immediately lets Mega Zero pick something against him.
That's going to be a lockdown comp, and you're right. He shows his hand to Mega Zero, and that's a duel right there. Mega Zero may choose to, as I believe it was week 7 or a little bit more previous when he pulled out Aurelia, but these guys have seen the Aurelia versus CLG matchup, so he's going to do it again as they hover it.
It's like Season 2 all over again. Jax versus Aurelia in the top lane, just going at it. Maybe they'll build some Blade of the Ruined Kings.
Double Triforce?
This will be a real interesting game, because in some of CLG's scrims, I know Hotshot has been playing Jax in those, and he generally just plays super split push Jax, dies a lot, keeps up the pressure, and just goes and goes and goes until eventually it gets to a point where the rest of his team has created pressure. And since they've gotten the Amumu jungle, Hotshot will have to create even more pressure in that lane as Jax. So I'd actually expect Marn to maybe gank Hotshot a little bit extra and try to get Mega Zero going on Aurelia. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we actually saw a 2v2 lane setup, even though we don't see that as much anymore with these teams. CLG will probably want it, and Niantonso and Heartbeat, since they have the Thresh and the potential hooks, might go for that as well.
So we actually see quite a bit, not quite a bit, but more play than not, Jax play in OGN and Korea in those. Is there a reason the compositions that they run that we would see him more there and not as much in NA?
I think it's just a matter of preference, right? Like, Renekton is so huge. If Renekton's not getting banned out, a lot of times people will just go for the top laners that's, you know, you're this tall to enter top lane, and Renekton makes it, and Jax is a little too short sometimes. But in that situation, he's a niche pick as it is, so it's probably just random chance that he's more seen in Korea as far as I can tell.
All right. As we see both teams locked in here, first game of our last day of Super Week here in North America. Obviously, the EU Super Week has just begun today. They have a few more days to go. So many matches over 5 days between the both regions. 40 matches to go. And we start off with Marn versus Counterlogic Gaming. Like we said, Marn can even out the score here. It's 2-1 in favor of CLG in their matchup. So Marn looks to really go 50-50 here.
And in all of this, when I look at CLG's team comp, I actually see a lot of threats for the first time almost all year, because Hotshot on Jax, that is a carry top laner. That is not your support tank top laner. Amumu does a huge heap load of damage in the jungle as that, and then Link, instead of something like Lux, which is one shot and out, it's Ahri who actually kind of dives into a team fight and spreads a little bit of damages around like an assassin. So this is a slightly different look for CLG at the end of the year. Maybe they're doing it because they've already clinched the 4th spot, and essentially they're just playing for practice here, / play a spoiler against Marn. Could be a start of something new for CLG in this one.
We'll see what they can pull into this match, and it's actually CLG looking to make it 50-50. I should correct myself as they come into the match.
That's true.
So with this, we do see the global presence coming out. Twisted Fate was not banned. He made it through. Echo was the first to lock that in, or the team was, I should say, on their first pick. Then the double AD carry and support was shown from CLG. So maybe with the confidence there, they will choose for the lane swap like we said. We see the teams facing off there. Marn versus Counterlogic Gaming, our first match in the 3rd day of Super Week.
And here we go. There's a couple utility spec people on Marn already. You can see the total biscuits of rejuvenation being picked up by Echo and Heartbeat. So that's a utility spec TF, and double crystalline flask in that middle lane as well, which kind of tells me they're going to be looking to spam their spells a little bit, aren't really looking to fight early, and that's probably going to be a shove lane throughout, but there has been a drop-off in level 1 play as well this year. Well, this week.
Either or. You could go with both. We'll see what they go for. Looks like we have Chaucer, or rather Claky, putting up the flag just for a little bit of cover as they go that personal line of scrimmage. Few wards quickly placed out for CLG here. It looks like they're going to move away from that bottom half of the jungle and focus on the top side, but they are going to get the lane swap.
And if they go for the lane swap, you know, it is not too surprising. I was hoping to see a 2v2 brawl because both of them have their advantages and their disadvantages. Doublelift will want to get extremely farmed on Vayne. They have maybe slightly better lane and turret push, whereas Niantonso and Heartbeat would have slightly better kill potential on a Hotshot in the bottom lane with their 2v1.
We'll have to see Mega Zero with that fort pot. May try to go pretty hard onto Hotshot in the early part of the game. If he can get down there, or they try to recall the lanes, I should say. But it looks like they're going to leave Thresh and them down. Echo goes to join with Marn in the bottom lane. They may go for a late side push here. Or the, no, I said, has Heartbeat going to back and they're going to go top lane possibly?
There are a lot of confusion pings going out here. No one's really sure what they're going to be doing. Hotshot might actually steal some of this experience from Chauster as well, so he doesn't get too messed up in the 2v1. And actually, Marn is moving through a ward towards Chauster's blue buff.
Yeah, they going for this late invade, and they're going to, as you said, walk through that, but still try to play the fog of war game. They're going to wait it out. So with Hotshot not seeing this, it may just really prevent him from doing a lot, and he may have to back to get to his lane.
And what's happening here is Marn's actually trying to go for delayed invade on the blue buff, but because of that, CLG's trying to get the invade on the other blue. I wonder if they're going to get this and run away.
So Hotshot's just there for vision to let them know what's going on as the fight will occur here. Link comes into the fight. I don't think they have much of their crowd control here besides that bandage toss. Marn's going to be able to go after this blue. It looks like CLG's backing off, and I don't think they've had the time to fully grab it. No, they have. They got the damage down, and it went to who? No, actually Claky got it.
That was the double blue buff for Marn. It could not have went better for them. Claky D had the guts to stick around and smite it, and because actually Mega Zero moved a bit away, he got the level 2, so if CLG would have tried to all-in him, he could have flag tossed away. That's one of the reasons CLG didn't decide to all-in, and because Martin did that with only 2 people, Hotshot could never 1v3 contest his own blue buff, so that's actually going to hurt Chouster a lot in the early game.
And everybody on CLG took their crowd control, so the first part of these lanes, if they get aggressed on, it's not going to help too much. You can see Echo not really going hard and using that. Link should be getting that Orbit Deception soon on his level 2. We'll have to see how they counter this in the top lane now.
And that's actually kind of bad for Link at the start because he only went the charm because he wanted to stop Claky D, and since that failed, it actually just lets Echo push him around a little bit. And now we're going to see, even though Claky D is walking through a ward again, if they can shut down Hotshot's farm or even kill him.
This is brute strength right here, pushing CLG off of their turrets. They cannot re-roam into the jungle. Marn is too much on top of the game right now, and they would lose experience. So they are forced to watch this happen, watch the lanes get pushed. The presence from Chouster about to now come in the top lane and try to really give them an advantage off what's happening.
And CLG is trying to counteract this strategy, but the big thing to keep in mind is Chouster's not double buffed. He's just got that red. So will Mega Zero be able to hold it off? Another difference in these 2 lanes is Mega Zero does have that red elixir where Hotshot does not, but I stand up to 3 people at that turret.
Checking out this mid lane, still going back and forth. The bottom turret gets dropped very fast here. We did see that Marn was one of the teams when this happened in the first Super Week to stop TSM in the fast turret push, but it looks like they're taking this as their own strat now, and they're going to start putting it on CLG.
And even though there was that difference in the buff steals and the difference in the starting items for the top laners, it is a similar result for both of them. That was a smart brute force play by Chouster to realize that he didn't have the buff, as Echo was getting a little aggressive. Since Chouster didn't have blue buff, he couldn't get experience clearing his jungle. Instead, they opted into the lane experience, and he's actually not that far behind of Claky D with that move.
He is using that blue buff to great extent in mid lane, really causing Echo to just push those potions down his own throat. And it looks like in the bottom lane, Heartbeat, look at the zoning right now into Hotshot GG. 2 to 4 CS 5 minutes into the game for the top laners.
And the question now is how long are they going to be staying in those lanes? Because once they kill the turret, you usually see them swap around. Are they going to trade more turrets? Are they going to go mid? Are we going to see ganks mid from Chouster?
Nice little bandage toss there. I don't think Link or either Chouster thought that was going to work out as well as it did, and they weren't ready to execute.
The max range bandage toss isn't actually something you expect to land that often. He might kind of juke it away. I think the threat of the Ahri charm made Echo walk kind of in a long distance away, and he was more worried about that than the bandage. But he also wasn't that worried overall, because even though it landed, he didn't have to burn any summoner spells, and he barely took damage.
That would have been a great time to get that blue buff as well. I think it's just about to time out on him, and it does. So a refresh on that would have been grand for CLG. They lose that opportunity, but it's all right. They may not have had it anyway. 6 minutes in here. It's a bit of a gold lead to Marn. We saw no kills, but that turret lead, or turret first, and some CS on that is going to be able to help them out. A little bit of gold, as we saw in the top lane, brought back by CLG, and everything's kind of slowed down after a real aggressive first 5 minutes.
And those were some super early turrets. I think the first one was like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And the question we asked about where the 2-man lanes would go before and how long were they going to try to deny the 1v2 is kind of answered here, because both of the AD carry supports have went into their turretless lanes, and both of the 1v2s have re-1v2'd themselves. So that's actually going to be fairly interesting to keep track of if they just trade other turrets or if junglers try to gank these 2-man lanes that don't have turrets behind them.
Well, looks like we're going to get a counter gank here on this 2v2 that's going to be put up, walking through a vision ward. So this is cleared out. Claky probably won't go directly to the lane after that. They do have vision on Chouster as he comes down, so they're going to just play the safe.
It's pretty smart of Claky to just kind of do the fadeaway afterwards, because now the fear of him being anywhere is available, and because of that, Chouster didn't try to go in either, so actually Marn doesn't have vision on Chouster either, and everyone kind of has to be scared of where the mummy is.
Chouster trying to tuck in here on the backside. Looks like he may just grab himself. Oh, sad. Mummy's even sadder. He doesn't even get Wraiths out of this, but he could be going 2 turrets deep. Looks like he changes his mind, unfortunately, and Echo is safe for now.
So we'll see if Chouster ends up falling too behind because of this. Claky D has actually gotten a whole bunch of experience thanks to all the shoving and all the support he's giving Mega Zero, but Chouster really wants to make Echo's day tough with those continuous ganks mid.
They're trying to keep a tab on him now, right? He is level 6. He's going to be able to get all around the map. They do have teleport on Hotshot, but he's going to have to play reactively to that Destiny.
And Hotshot's teleport would actually be really detrimental if he used it right now, since he's solo holding that top lane. As soon as he tries to teleport to keep track of something else, he's going to lose that turret. He's almost losing the turret by himself up here because he is getting no help in this 1v2.
Great harass from that explosive shot. They grab him. I don't think Heartbeat's going to send himself into the fray there. The Destiny comes out. It looks like he actually goes to the blue. Chouster flashes over the wall after stealing.
Chouster does a good job of recognizing the retimer on the blue buff, and he actually might be able to get double blue for his own team after this because they know, thanks to where Hotshot kind of had vision early game, that their blue's going to be coming back soon as well. And since they have the 80 carrying support there, the two-man steal that Marngard, the double blue that Marngard at the start of the game, could be a double blue that CLG gets now.
So they have their teleport. They may lose this turret and try to go for Dragon. Maybe this turret could be taken down in the bottom lane. Ahri's coming around the back side as Link is just in position. If he goes out here, the minion wave has just pushed up, so it saves them time, but they need to act if they want this to work.
And Marn has no idea that Link is here. If they get the turret there, they might just die.
Oh, Claky D in the shop. He closes it just soon enough, and you can see him telling his team, this is a bad situation, guys. We need to start closing in on this. They're going in. Doublelift condemns against the wall. Claky will surely go down. Mega Zero's forced to watch from the outside. They get a turret on top of it.
Gotta give credit to Doublelift for getting the condemn stun first so that Link could chain with the charm. Claky D wanted to kind of do some fancy stuff. He had his ultimate, he had his jump up. He was a little bit low on mana, but he was just so completely shut down in that gank attempt that Claky D could not escape.
So Marn trying to clean up this bottom lane. See, Hotshot did get back to that top, but it was dropped. So we kind of have a turret for a turret there. We're back to 2 even. Just about 12,000 gold a team. And 1 kill in favor of CLG puts them up a few hundred gold.
And you gotta wonder a little bit, because that's a 600 gold kill that CLG just picked up. How they're only up 100 gold. Echo's Twisted Fate passive has something to do with that, right? Because it's 2 gold per last hit, and if you look at that, it's about 150 last hit, so that's about 300 gold. That kind of just answered our question, but aside from that, they're probably a few minion kills up, meaning they have a slight edge in some of the lanes.
We see a lot of cover or direction being put onto the Dragon now, who's going to be able to really fend this one off. Still, that teleport on Hotshot GG is kind of the surprise fight that Counterlogic's looking for as they come up to this one, and Mega Zero is going to have to really make the long haul first to make it work for his team.
And this is the time of game where Hotshot GG's teleport is going to be a little bit more usable, because the outer turrets in both of the bottom and top lanes where Hotshot is going to be spending most of his time are no longer in need of protection, and it's going to be very rare that someone is pushed up to a second turret in time to pressure it in case of a Hotshot teleport. So since CLG has those wards around the Dragon Pit, we could expect them to make a play now and Hotshot teleport back, or Hotshot splish a different lane and teleport to the Dragon.
And Jet, looking at the top lane items that they're buying, kind of, you know, you can check back to what Prolly says is people kind of go off comfort zone when they don't know what they're playing against and they haven't played against it in a while. And these two matching up Aurelia, we have seen a bit against Jax, but they're going full Dorans, and we really haven't seen anybody do this.
This is actually, I think, for Hotshot a completely new thing, because he usually goes cloth armors against Doran's Blade, but that's a build Mega Zero did the last time he played on Aurelia, because he really cares about his early game strength, as CLG has 5 people around the Dragon.
Well, let's see if it works out for him. They have the Destiny up, so all the vision is there. The pink ward shows CLG that that's the only vision that they have, so when it wears off, they may have an advantage going in. It's going to be Chouster on the Dragon, a great lockdown onto Marn. They put themselves in that fight on top of a ward. Echo's going to get cleaned up here by the first part of the orb. A double kill for Link. They move on to the mid turret.
Flash crescendo by Aphromoo set all of that up so well. Chouster then landed his bandage toss and chained it with Curse of the Sad Mummy. On top of that, Hotshot was there. Mega Zero wasn't. Marn didn't even get the Dragon Steal from that, so they lose so many objectives from that trade.
And so much ground can still be gained. Hotshot didn't have to teleport into that fight, and they got a turret off of the Dragon. So much global gold has just flown through the window, and that gives them a 3,000 gold lead now.
Just to think about that fight even more, so much went right for CLG, like a 3 for 0 just straight up they didn't even have to burn too many flashes. Hotshot still has all his summoners. Doublelift didn't have to burn everything. Chouster's flash was down before that fight. There was no exhaust even burned from Aphromoo. Like, they just wrecked Marn. Clinkity didn't even get off his Cataclysm because they lost that fight so catastrophically. And now it's really on Marn to try to make something happen big. But it's so hard because CLG didn't even expend that much for that victory.
Dangerous moves made without wards at Dragon. Kind of put CLG up a bit here at 12 minutes into the game. We'll have to see where the buys come from. Fort Pots were not used by Mega Zero because he wasn't in the fight, like we said. Hotshot was there, and he didn't have to use teleport. Marn trying to counter that bit of gold lead globally by the mid turret, but the wave clear too good for now with 4 CLG in mid. They go back to clearing their jungle, and Hotshot does what he does best in top lane.
Just farming away, trying to catch up a little bit. Due to that 1v2, he's got the 15 minion kill lead on Mega Zero and is actually 1,000 gold ahead of him. So Hotshot's been saying all year that he can't play carries, but he's starting out pretty well on Jackson this one.
Yeah, CLG's playing another threat.
They got like 3 or 4 threats in this game, if you're going to be honest about this. Normally it's just the one Doublelift, but now all those threats are walking down for an attempted re-blue steal.
They are trying to make a threat here on the blue. And every time, Chouster flashed for this last time. They are ready to have the timer over and over. Usually we see a team kind of forget. Did he just get that with his Q? He just stole it with his Q. Oh, Clanky, Sneaky D coming in strong.
That was really good. I don't even, he couldn't even have smited that. CLG got caught completely unawares by that. They really didn't expect it to be stolen, but they realized that Nian Tanso was still in the bottom lane pushing up, and CLG is just mad mode in that turret.
They are going to be able to crush this down a 4th one quickly. That's 2 turrets in a row unanswered with really 0 pressure.
And this is really interesting for CLG's choice. Okay, they decide to back straight away because they know Nian Tanso is split pushing. CLG can either 5-man this turret and go for inhibitor, but it's going to be a difficult dive 5v4. They have enough ultimates up. They might just go.
It looks like they're going to pressure this. Curse of the Sad Mummy goes down. They throw it in the box as well. They're in the middle of the fight. Heartbeat gets caught. They're all forced to flash out. The Cataclysm has locked up Counter Logic Game. It kind of deterred the kills coming into the fight. It looks like they may still have the turret by tanking it.
So they only got 1 kill, and they're all quite low from here. Let's see if Marn can close down on them. They have the Twisted Fate ult that they want to chase, but CLG is on the retreat.
Where is Nian Tanso? Is he almost into the fight? He runs back a little too late. They aren't going to be able to catch.
At the end of the day, that was a huge win for CLG because with that dive, they didn't lose anyone. They got a kill, they got the inhibitor turret down, and they forced Nian Tanso to go back to not push that. So that was an incredibly aggressive play from CLG. Normally, they play these games so slow, but maybe this is that scrim CLG team that seemingly destroys everyone coming out because there's essentially no pressure on CLG right now, even though there's a world of pressure on Marn.
Marn trying to create that pressure. Twin Shadows being brought out by Echo, but it's hard. Who do you want to slow that you can engage on? They have great escapes if CLG doesn't want to fight in the end, and their initiations have been spot on right now. So we'll see maybe just some items coming in for Echo as he tries to piece his items together.
And a lot of those Twin Shadow Twisted Fate builds are really good at running away with games, but they're not that good at coming back in games because CLG has such good team fighting capability with this gold lead they have. And you factor in the fact that Chouster has an Aegis of the Legion already on Amumu, and Clinkity is nowhere close to his first aura item. So even though you can get vision of them and reveal them with the Twin Shadows, you aren't necessarily able to do something about it immediately because as soon as you teleport in, you're just going to teleport into a whole bunch of trouble if CLG is stronger than you.
And that's a Deathfire Grasp to that Twin Shadows as well already coming out for Link. So he is looking to completely burst and get out of the fight. When his cooldowns are back in, they let Doublelift do the rest of the work. See, Aphromoo has Flash, Crescendo just waiting to come up, so CLG may be waiting for that because the combo of Amumu and then Jax after that is absolutely crushing.
And CLG seems like they're in complete control. There's a minute left in this game. No, there's not a minute left in this game. On the next Dragon spot.
Oh.
That's the one that's coming up soon. Those are the words. They're going to try to make sure these lanes are pushed out. I don't think Hotshot's had to burn his teleport for any forcible reasons, and they're just able to get the split push pressure going. Hotshot's picking up even more free farm. He's going to slowly move towards that Blade of the Ruined King, and CLG is just patrolling around Dragon because they're going to have full control of this area the next time it spawns.
Seeing the Locket of the Iron Solari come out for Flaky D, like you said, the Aegis built for Chouster already. And they're not really even looking to block that much magic damage, but it's a great item to have. Echo pretty much gets shut down right away. And the Locket is kind of really needs to be a bulwark for a Chouster, for a Link on Amumu and Ahri.
The way I kind of see it with jungle items, even though a lot of the LCS junglers pretty much just rush the Locket of the Iron Solari, is I like the Aegis if they don't have a huge amount of physical damage or if their AD carry isn't doing well. If they have a lot of physical damage and their AD carry is doing well, I'll go for the Locket of Iron Solari. I pretty much always want to build both on these utility junglers, so I think that ClayKD will go for an Aegis later and Chouster will go for a Locket of the Iron Solari later. But the choice for now is just depending on the situation. And because CLG is doing so well at shutting Marn down, they're going to take the guaranteed auras rather than the situational shielding of that Locket.
2 dragons not having any ward on them. Give another one to CLG. They look to get some money back on this one. There's the Twin Shadows coming out. Can they finalize? He jumps to his own ward, outplaying both MegaZero and Echo, and it looks like Hotshot keeps himself safe.
That's the pressure being created. Marn decided not to contest that dragon because they knew he had a teleport to come down, but they actually sacrificed 2 people up top, meaning it's a 4v3 in the bottom lane, and Hotshot, when he goes back to base, has the potential to teleport in and make this an even more powerful push for CLG.
Summoners were blown on that by MegaZero. That flash as well for Echo, so like you said, this fight could be strong. Hotshot could come in the backside with teleport. We're 18 minutes in here. A second tier turret being taken down on the side of Marn. 6-2 in turrets now. This is escalating quickly for Counter Logic Gaming.
And CLG fans are going to be so perplexed by this game, saying, why can't CLG play like this all the time? Because they are playing one of their best games of the year. They're playing outside of their style a little bit. Yes, they played a Mumu frequently, but Hotshot is not necessarily a Jax player this season. They're running multiple threats. They're being very aggressive. They're not even necessarily waiting for late game. They're just playing so smart and so well coordinated, and Marn doesn't seem to have an answer.
And I love the composition now. Blade of the Rune King, the burst in dive buddies, the Blade active, the Deathfire Grasp active for Link and Hotshot to get in the fight. They're looking to completely kill someone and continue the fight easily, and after the Curse of the Sad Mummy. So they are synergizing their fight situation so well.
And with the Blade of the Rune King completed on Hotshot, he's just going to be an everlasting threat in that top lane. Look at the advantage he's accrued over MegaZero. A lot of times you'll bring Aurelia to fight up against Jax, but it's an 1,800 gold difference and just a huge item threshold. What are Mercury Treads and a bunch of Doran's Blades going to do against a Blade of the Rune King Jax that's just split pushing freely in that lane? He's actually just walking up near the inhibitor, and Marn's going to have to go and defend that, but knowing CLG's ultimates are up, CLG might just walk in and try to force a fight to take this inhib.
4 people have drawn attention from Hotshot here, or to Hotshot. He gets to get on Chouster. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is just outside, but he flashes in for it. Niantanso uses the cleanse on the outside, gets good damage onto Chouster. They find him. MegaZero's being a great peel tank on the backside. That's the first time CLG hasn't been able to enter the fight completely.
Looks like CLG got a little bit hyphy there. Chouster decided to flash off in before the team could follow up, and Doublelift took a lot of auxiliary damage near the back of that fight, so that was a good hold by Marn, and even though CLG's aggression has been so on point throughout this game, that was a little bit too much, and now Hotshot is in risk of getting caught.
Looks like they're going in strong. They really want this buff. Oh, Niantanso just going for the rocket jump in. Can they get the kill? Continue the resets here. It goes to Echo, but he gets it. Niantanso wants more. Aphromoo could go down. The crescendo was used in the last fight. The charm stops a few of the auto attacks. That rocket jump cooldown may not come up, but he has the range. He's only level 12. I think Aphromoo's going to be able to make it away with that aura.
Niantanso, even still, had a great amount of power coming through that. And this is the difference you usually see in the other way from the AD carries, because Niantanso's team is the one that's behind, but he's at 194 farm, whereas Doublelift on Vayne has more assists, but about 40 fewer CS. It's because CLG has been grouping around more, taking more objectives, pushing down more turrets, but all the while, Niantanso's been trying to split push and make himself become more powerful. So with that failed dive and the great turnaround by Marn, this is actually only a 4,000 gold game.
Echo fights strong there, does obtain his blue buff after everything goes down. We did see that inhibitor get exposed though. That's big moves for Counter Logic. They also have 6 turrets that are not present on the map for Marn. That means more roaming and map pressure presence for them. At 20 minutes in, they are 5-2. That was Marn finding their first kills of the game in that last fight. So little by little, they could still, like you said, it's only about 4 or 5K there.
And unfortunately, Marn didn't get the shutdowns on the people that had the biggest bounties. Link obviously with the most kills. One more kill and he's going to hit that maximum 500 gold bounty for a kill. Doublelift trying to make sure he gets a bit more farm. He's now hit his second big item on Vayne. Those are the items he used to always build on Vayne, even though lately he's kind of switched over to an Infinity Edge. So very much a throwback to some of CLG's old styles, but still some new stuff mixed in there as well.
Looks like they're going for this turret, a little bit of pressure. Chouster does not have Curse of the Sad Mummy up, so it's just going to be a quick little impact of damage. And they do deter Marn from the turret, leaving it about 4th health.
And Hotshot will need to make his teleport count, I think, if COG really wants to close this game out. I've seen in the past, Hotshot will just split push a bunch in bottom lane, and then if they send people for him, he'll just teleport up and do Baron. But right now, it seems like COG isn't really ready to make that play since Hotshot is actually pushing the top lane with teleport, and the rest of COG is just holding it mid.
If the fight were to happen now, both supports kind of giving 75% aggression. Their summoners are down. Aphromoo looks to be cleaning out, and objective controlling here for Counterlogic Gaming starts at 22 minutes. The Destiny goes down just for a bit of vision. But they got to be careful because TF is in the bottom side of the map here.
And that was the thought of Echo. He was at the bottom side, and he's like, well, maybe COG's going for Baron. Yeah, they kind of were going for Baron. And even though Echo couldn't have immediately made it up there, COG couldn't have taken the Baron down fast enough before Marn could have came to support, which is why they backed off. And I think this is round 2 of the inhibitor dance. They're going to be a little more coordinated in this one and try to consistently get that inhibitor down.
Curse of the Sad Mummy is up. Crescendo's up, as well as Exhaust for both of the supports now, so they are kind of fight ready. The Charm onto that Siege minion just off of Heartbeat. He is really one to stop the engagement for them. It's Clakeyd going in and Heartbeat stopping an erroneous engagement if that's what happens.
And there's definitely more caution from these teams right now. If the hooks land, if the charms land, if a Banish Toss land, I think we're going to get a fight, but if those things don't happen, it's just going to be consistent poke, and there's a jump!
He finds Hotshot and Double Lift in the same spot, but Clakeyd doesn't even go for the ultimate. He tries to lock up the team, so Neontanto can sit on the outside, but Hotshot goes straight for him, and so does Double Lift. They are just in the eyes there. They want blood from Neontanto. They can't find it, they back off.
COG looks like they got what they came for, though. Chouster is the only one who died. He's sacrificing himself with those Amumu ults. They got a 2-for-1 and the all-important inhibitor. Now we'll see if Marn can try to chase them down a little bit. COG has to be careful where they back and if they back together because Echo is on the hunt.
He did this last time. He wants to get up, and he's really stopping them from backing, allowing the team to get up. They can start to create more pressure on Baron, possibly.
Echo has about 7 seconds on his Destiny. I think he was hoping that he could catch some people out of position, but that's why COG is running far, far away, and Echo may or may not burn this Destiny. He's popped it up. He's going.
Looks like he found Ari. Can he get the gold card down? The charm comes out. It's going to be the hit. Wild card seemed to have passed just above Link on that one, and he has lanterned back to safety. Aphromoo there to help as well.
So not quite able to capitalize off of COG's scattered back timings. They do end up burning the Twisted Fate ultimate. Link didn't have to flash away. The rest of COG did come over for support. And now we might be seeing that Hotshot split push in the bottom lane as we may see COG forcing for a Baron since they've already gotten that inhibitor.
It was super scary to see Clakeyd jump in there, and actually he did it right. He cordoned off Vayne and Hotshot, right, and Jax. But the damage he took there was scary.
It's one of those things, Jarvan, when he's behind, can make the fights happen, but he's pretty much always going to lose his life. And it's a matter of if Marn can follow up strong enough, and since Mega Zero hasn't really put together items, Neontanto actually got focused really hard by Double Lift and Hotshot both diving on him, so he couldn't make as big of an impact. And it's just a matter of COG having so much damage, finally, that they were able to get multiple targets down in the same fight.
Here now they try to pressure Marn, showing them they're clearing out. See how many wards Marn has right now, and it doesn't look like many. That's usually when you signify that you are going to fight the other team. CLG does have a few to play still. Marn coming out of the base with just wards on Heartbeat, so they're going to have to push themselves to a scary spot to get that vision.
And here's the move. COG's not going to want to engage anything as the Spooky Ghosts actually come out and try to slow down COG. But this is a matter of stalling right now because Hotshot is unopposed in the bottom lane. He's going to be going for that inhibitor. And as long as Marn can't get a hard engagement, Hotshot is winning right now.
He is definitely putting the Jax attack down onto the team. You can see him in the bottom lane here as all the focus is in mid. They still have vision of that pink ward on backing. Hotshot has that turret down to about a fifth of the health. He's going to take it. The engagement goes down. They want to keep them off of Hotshot. It's going strong now. Link tries to get in. Buster shot it back, but he does go down in the end. Clakeyd trying to keep down Double Lift, and that's what we said. You can go in, but you're probably going to go down. Good kills from both sides, a 2-2 overall, but that bottom inhibitor turret was lost.
It was the full engage, and Hotshot did end up teleporting in. I thought COG actually might have fought that all 4v4 to let Hotshot take the inhibitor, but they're content with the 2v2 and more exposed turrets. The gold advantages are piling up. Marn is very low right now, so COG's push continues.
They have the top one. They could just go around the horn here and look to take out all three. Neontanto able to do some good damage from the backside. Aphromoo just looking to keep that poke sustained. They are going to get this. Double Lift takes the last few shots. Wow, looks like the Grandmaster wanted to go in for a fight, and he may. Counter-Strike coming up. He dodges a few attacks with that, about half to 2 seconds. and gets out alive.
That was a close one. COG stuck around just as long as they could to be able to finish off that one. And Niantanso's actually still on the hunt. Doublelift trying to steal his red buff, but he doesn't want him to take that one.
Looks like they're moving around. They're going to leave him some lizards, though, and say thank you very much. He goes again for the jump. The Destiny comes in. The cleanse is there, but it's just too much damage. Marn finding Doublelift and getting that shutdown money.
Marn has to get a lot done in this time, though. There's 35 seconds of Doublelift being down, but Marn has lost 2 inhibitors. Yes, there's a Baron buff, but the longer they stay out here, the more threat their base becomes under, as Niantanso tries to make that middle turret go down. But Marn has a very tight clock here because their base will disappear soon.
Who leaves their base with 2 inhibitors down? A team that really needs to make some moves. Marn now going for Baron as their base is getting battered with minions. 27 minutes into this game, it's 6-9. So close right now. Locket goes out just to stop damage for the fight.
And the creeps are just piling up in their base. They might get this, but COG is here to fight.
Hotshot on one side. He can jump to a ward, but he chooses to flash and counter strikes up, but it's ClankyD getting the Baron. Link goes in. He gets stopped. They could throw CLG a twist here, but their base is getting destroyed by minions. They're on the Nexus turrets. The Cataclysm goes down to hold in CLG. They need to make this fight happen now. CLG walking around is winning this fight.
The longer this fight goes on for CLG, the more the minions are going to kill Marn's base. This is crazy, Riv.
The Nexus turret, first one goes down already. You can see it in the bottom left hand. They're trying to get back. Aphromu's auto-attacking as many people as possible. He hits the Niantanso, but it's not enough. It actually turned away before he auto-attacked. It didn't count. That next Nexus turret does have minions, but it's going down. Heartbeat gets locked up. He tries to play back, but CLG comes in with the kills. They may not have enough to push, but Marn is looking very bad position right now.
The reason that Recall didn't get interrupted by Aphromu, Riv, is because there was a Thresh Lantern shield on him, and the damage didn't actually hit him. It hit the shield, so he was able to get back to base. That was a clutch play on both accounts, but Marn's base is absolutely devastated after that, and they actually lost Baron on, I think, most of their team because a lot of them died in that fight. No, I'm completely wrong. They still have Baron on 4 people.
So crazy. Like I said, who chases down Baron when you have inhibitors down, because that's the result. But Marn making it look good, doing it with a bit of swagger. They did lose a turret, and now this is going to be a hardcore fight for them. They have good wave clear. We won't say great, because if all 3 waves come in, it's pretty much going to be them fighting CLG and hoping the minions don't take down the Nexus.
I do think that was the best play Marn could have made in this situation, because you almost never come back from having 2 inhibitors down. You pretty much always just lose the 3rd inhibitor, wait for the team to push in, and then you're just like, well, I guess we'll fight at our Nexus, and they usually lose and just lose the game from there. So Marn took their opportunity, they took the Baron. Because of it, they ended up losing all their inhibitors and one of their Nexus turrets. It's very important that they didn't lose both of their Nexus turrets, because a potential backdoor from Hotshot GG will take much longer if he has to fight through that next Nexus turret. Another very important thing for Marn is not all 3 inhibitors are down. When the 3rd inhibitor goes down, you actually get double the amount of super minions spawning in every lane, which makes it almost an incredible amount of creeps that you can't clear. But because it's just 2, Marn still holds a hope of chance. And since COG is pushing in so quickly now, there's still about 2 minutes left on Baron on 4 members of Marn. So if they fought them again really quickly, there's a chance they could come out on top.
It's a 3,000 gold lead, and that gold lead is really only coming help from a few members on Marn. If we look now, MegaZero has finished the Frozen Mallet. He just had a phage up until now. It's 2 or 3 items coming in from Hotshot GG. Yeah, he hasn't finished the Randuin's yet, but that Blade of the Rune, full up home guard boots, and the rest of the team has a lot more completed core items.
And Niantanso is an Infinity Edge ahead of Doublelift in items. Just a straight up 3.8k gold item.
CS.
And he's level 18, so he's got the over 700 range coming out on Tristana. 703 to be exact on that one. And it's just a matter of CLG again trying to put the slow push on, knowing there are super minions pushing around, knowing that Marn is cornered in their base. But I don't know if CLG actually wants to fight with this Baron on. If Marn were to get an engage, they might be able to make something happen, Riv.
With this Baron, Niantanso has over 100 more attack damage than Doublelift right now. If they can get this fight, it is going to be huge. He's red potted up, like you said, that had that Baron. They're going to start going for the top one back around the horn for CLG as they look for the inhibitors.
And this is it, because this is the only inhibitor of Marn that is alive. So Marn going hard.
There it is. ClankyD all's in. MegaZero's with him there. They jump out as well. Hotshot gets pushed back. Good damage from Niantanso on the outside. A Curse of the Sad Mummy locks down the back line. They get the damage onto ClankyD. MegaZero is already out of the fight. He has low health. The charm goes on, but so does the Zonias. There's a lot of health there. Tristana looking to crit those low HPs. One shot onto Hotshot. He follows down into the base. Marn is able to protect the inhibitor, and that's going to look good for a next fight.
They trade a 1-for-1, and actually another inhibitor is respawned. They didn't really lose anything for that fight. ClayKyD didn't even have a bounty because he's only died 4 times, and Martin might actually be holding this one.
If ClayKyD can get enough armor to stay alive for a few more rounds of spells for his team against Doublelift, against Hotshot on the initial Cataclysm, this is going to spell bad news for CLG. Chauster was scrambling his whole time to figure out where a good Curse of the Sad Mummy was that fight.
And this is really funny, Riv, because I actually remember a lot of games with Doublelift being the pretty much only one on his team with kills. Chauster was on a Jarvan who had died a lot and was kind of just suiciding in to start fights. And then there was a bunch of people who were just kind of creating utility. Echo's the one who's creating a bunch of utility on Twisted Fate because he went for the Twin Shadows build. There's a Frozen Mallet on Mega Zero, so he's more of a sticking Aurelia who's not really doing a whole bunch of damage. And Marn is CLG right now, is the CLG we're used to, because Nian Tanso is the only thing that matters as far as damage goes. Coming up on max items, only 32 minutes into the game, 381 minion kills, 150 ahead of Doublelift, but everything on Marn's base is dead. They've lost all but 1 turret. The inhibitors are slowly respawning, and they're barely holding off this one. So CLG, they know what Marn is doing right now because they've done it themselves so many times. Let's see if they can beat it.
It's them. It's that battle of the late game, the hyper carry queens, a Tristana versus a Vayne. Really, any disputes of a late game to be settled if they get to have a 1v1 would be fantastic. We'll see where the mechanics stand there in that fight. 11-10, 33 minutes in, still 2,000 gold. And as we said, you look at the items back and forth, and it looks like CLG should just be in the lead in fights. And then you have, like you said, that Fed Tristana and a team that's looking to support her.
And the Super Minion waves are at an end. This is the last wave of Super Minions that are actually coming in bottom lane. So CLG's trying to get this down, but Marn doesn't want to let him.
Once again, they don't even let Marn get a few shots on that. Nian Tanso does take down Aphromoo in the back. The crescendo goes off, so they're locked up for a second, but CLG doesn't even get a good initiation on that fight. They don't know what happened there.
And Marn is going to keep going.
Echo going crazy, dives it into this one. Link looks to go down here. Nian Tanso gets a double kill in the fight. That's going to be a triple kill overall. The last 2 were there, and they had to focus on Mega Zero, who built health. He is that utility to just die. The quadra kill overall. The extended Penta to come in if he can take down Hotshot. The red buff proc goes on. If it's his, Nian Tanso finds the overall Penta.
So how much time does Marn have now? There is 2 Super Minions in the bottom lane, so it looks like Marn is going to try to defend all 3 of their inhibitors, but the gold is actually in the favor of Marn now. They may be making a miraculous game, and what a better time because they are tied for last in the LCS right now. They have to win both of their games to stay alive in the playoff race, and they might come back in this one.
Remember, Jat, this is CLG looking to even the 2-1 matchup overall in their 4 games on the season, and Marn looks to not let that happen. They want to take the 75% roll. 34 minutes in, we are just about still 2,000 gold, even after that fight, but now it's in favor of Marn.
And Baron just spawned. Also, Marn has cleared out all the Super Minion waves, so they don't actually have to worry about an inhibitor being backdoored because they killed Hotshot last in the team fight. Normally, Hotshot tries to split push those side lanes and forces this Baron into the wrong hands, but Marn has so much damage, they're killing it so fast that they've cleared that, and now CLG can actually force a fight because they're not only behind in gold, they're down a Baron buff.
CLG is trying to put on the fort pots now. They're getting everything they can to make this last one of the last engagements in account, but Marn says it's not going to be the last one. They may still have 1 or 2 fights to take down CLG. I mean, look at this. It feels like we're super late into the game, but the levels on CLG just haven't gone up a lot lately. We're 34 minutes in. We have a 13 Chauster. We have a 14 Link. That means they're still spawning at short times.
So not only is it the gold as well, though, that means they're just behind of the stats you get from leveling. And so much of that happened because CLG had so much map pressure at the start of the game that the minions were just continuously piling into Marn's base. And because Nian Tanso was able to push them out, so many times people complain about Tristana's passive because it pushes the wave, but it's actually allowed Nian Tanso to keep this base safe and accumulate to 404 minion kills. I mean, that is absolutely crazy. It's a 3-level advantage on the supports, Heartbeat over Aphromoo, 4-level advantage for Echo over Link. Nian Tanso's been level 18 for what seems like forever, and Doublelift is still 16, so this is actually a really bad situation for CLG to be in, since they couldn't finish the game when they had the big opportunities to.
Absolutely.
They are now in comeback mode, and I don't know if they're actually mentally in comeback mode. They might be trying to backdoor.
Oh my gosh, Nian Tanso has 18,000 gold to himself in this game. Pulling out all the stops, almost 20 grand to his name. He actually picks up a Frozen Mallet as well, synergizing even more with Mega, synergizing with just the all-out hand play from Echo. Destinying into the team after the engagements, continue the engagement.
Here they're going again.
They feel safe enough to start leaving the base. There it is, Echo to go in on the engagement. They all go back to those just the last seconds of the blue pill.
It's the importance of all blue pilling together, because if Aphromoo would have waited about another second, that would have been a kill and a 4v5 push for Marn. But now it would be a 5v5 push for Marn. You can see CLG is desperately trying to keep the pressure on Marn's base. Marn has no structures in place to defend against someone backdooring, but what they do have is overwhelming force. And if CLG doesn't defend these, they're at risk of losing their own inhibitors.
Chad, this is absolutely ridiculous. Look at Marn's base. Minions flowing out of it. Just a second ago, that was a red blob. They have successfully pushed every single lane just to or past the river and are now aggressing onto CLG with a Nexus turret down.
And I really love Mega Zero Zeke's Herald on Aurelia. He knows what he's doing. He's just giving Neon Tanso more lifesteal and attack damage.
Exactly.
He knows what the threat is. The 1102 Neon Tanso.
Support top Aurelia.
CLG's got to be able to get on top of that. Neon Tanso has his cleanse up, but no flash. That flash will be up fairly quickly. And Marn has CLG corralled in their base right now. They're just getting these inhibitors, these outer turrets down. They're not even at the inhibitors yet. I don't know if CLG could even win a fight if it's on top of their own turrets, because they've lost so much of their lead.
439 attack damage to Neon Tanso, 264 on double lift. That is absolutely ridiculous. Yes, they still hold the Baron, so that's giving them a little bit of that steroid buff there, but those turrets are going down rapid fire, putting on a 90% increase in your attack speed for 7 seconds. Yeah. You're not going to have turrets for very long, or teammates.
It's just a matter of keeping Neon Tanso alive. Marn just tanking down these turrets. This is the last of the non-inhibitor turrets that's going down.
Oh my god.
This could set a record for turret destruction. There's
a
Cataclysm.
Go in. This could be one of the final fights here. They're not able to follow up though. CLG uses a lot to disengage on that.
Let's see what they actually had to burn. It was just Chouster's Flash actually, and I think Link...
It looked good. You're right. Yeah. It was only Chouster's Flash.
That
just a lot of abilities going...
It might be okay. It was real scary because you've seen Marn just going in all the time. Claykyd doesn't care about himself. He's just sacrificing for his team. And Marn is taking complete control of these jungle buffs as well. Tough situation for CLG.
This is absolutely crazy. And for Marn to do this, for them to see definitive wins on 3 fights in a row as CLG went for the same thing 3 times. You know, the old saying is that can kind of be considered crazy if it's not working. And Marn's starting to act on that now. They're finding the mistakes that are happening. And like I said, to be in this driver's seat, you're seeing the confidence in their play.
And I don't know what CLG is feeling right now, because they were in such total control and they were looking so good in this game. They were up, I think it was 4 or 6 kills to nothing, and they were just going for the inhibitor at like 20 minutes. They even had an inhibitor really soon in like a 5-2 kill lead, but they couldn't quite close. They almost went, I'd say, a little bit too fast. There is technically nothing on the line except for pride for CLG here. We got to remember that they have clinched the 4th spot. Marn are the ones fighting entirely for their lives and potentially their jobs here, as a loss would make them not make the playoffs right now. So everything matters for them. CLG might be trying the hide and bush strat. They're really just hoping Neon Tanso's coming by for red buff, but that's not what's actually happening.
Oh man, they're walking in. The Destiny comes out. They forgot about that full team clairvoyance, and it looks like they're going to be heading out of this one. Looks like they may try to start dictating the push, but CLG has the same idea.
And Marn cannot involve themselves in a base race since they have not cleared Nexus turrets of CLG's. They have not gotten open inhibitors, but CLG has. So what CLG is actually trying to do is surprisingly stall this one out. They need time to let Doublelift and Aphromoo and Link and Chouster get level 18 like almost everyone on Marn is, because Marn was the ones turtling this entire game, whereas CLG hasn't been. So they actually have to reset and just flip the tables on what Marn has already accomplished.
I am keeping my eyes on any stray wards that are placed on the bottom of this map on Marn's side for Hotshot GG at any point in this game, because if they can get a good pressure on, we may see those wards come out. We may see a little Expeke, but it's 50-50 on that toss. We're either getting a base race or a final fight down mid-win here. This is a 40-minute game, and everybody's almost at their full items. We have some empty slots, but mostly the supports.
And it's actually really surprising that when CLG was faking that base race, they didn't decide to ward on the bottom side, because the next potential objective that Marn goes for would be a Baron, since that's coming up in a minute. But CLG is using their building advantage right now to bully Marn around the map. Yeah. Marn hasn't been able to really take too much of an initiative, even though Claykyd burned Chouster's Flash, and Flash is on a 5-minute cooldown. I actually think it's a little bit less for Chelsea because he's got some mastery points, but that flash is only 70 seconds away now. Almost that entire threat that Martin created before is gone, and they still haven't pushed an inhibitor, and they've lost that previous Baron buff, so maybe they're just going to try to take it slow and get that Baron. I really wonder if CLG has something to bounce back with.
This is going to be crazy. I can see the fight coming out. Echo throwing off Destiny on the approach from CLG. Claky once again all in with himself. Mega Zero. We'll have to see how it happens. They clear out the wards.
20,000 gold has been picked up by Niantanso. He's actually in the wasting gold mode right now. He sold Home Guard boots and built Fura boots, and he's maxed out on elixirs, and he's got an Oracles for himself, but this could be the fight. They're right next to each other.
They're really going to just walk into this one. They push off Doublelift. It's definitely going to be a fight. The Crescendo's used. Doublelift only able to hit Claky D. They are on the outside of Niantanso. It's Link using a very early Zhonya's. One goes down. That's Chowster, one of the tanks. Hotshot gets the next shot. Link finds himself going down. Martin's able to wipe out CLG in a mid-fight face-to-face. They just go mano-a-mano, but it's all of the team. Doublelift's going to find himself. They cleanly ace CLG mid-game, only losing Claky.
5 for 1, 42 minutes in. Martin may have turned this around. They are just rushing for the base. They might try to tank down these turrets and the Nexus. Echo deciding to go up as well. Let's see how much they can get.
Echo he is waiting. He just threw on that rapid fire. They're going to be able to chunk down these buildings right here. 4 people rather still alive. They get 1, they get 2. The shortest timer is Chowster. He's really not going to be able to stop much. Actually, his curse is still up, so he may.
He still has his ultimate, 8 seconds. It's because he's such a low level that he might respawn in time, and he died first. I don't know if Martin can actually get all this. They're going to try, though. Niantanso's taking that turret.
They can absolutely take this game if they go strong enough. Curse of the Sad Mummy could, however, do quite a bit of damage. They get the lockdown. It's 1-2 on the crowd control. They're trying to stack it. A half-out Nexus. Martin looks to take out CLG. The final shots. First game of the day is the big upset. Martin over Counter Logic.
The most miraculous comeback we have seen all year. 10 buildings destroyed by Martin on a Nexus turret that's almost killed by waves of super minions. They were giving up Barons. They were holding off like crazy. They lost an inhibitor in that game in about 20 minutes, but look at the camaraderie from Martin. They are in it until the very last game, it seems.
Absolutely ridiculous play. Strength to know that you're still in the game no matter what, and really taking your opponent's strategy and adapting it to your own to win the game.
The farm that came out from Niantanso, 13-0-5, 457 minion kills, 21,956 gold. That is just out of this world for a 42-minute and 55-second game. Didn't even die.
Found himself an extended pentakill.
Man, that was good.
That was good.
Exhale.
That was good. Amazing game coming in for our first match of the day, which only spells more awesome for the final day of Super Week here in North American LCS. We absolutely have a replay of the ace turning the game around. We're going to check this out. Probably had something to do with Niantanso.
Yeah, there were so many fights in this game, but this is the one that happened to hold off the inhibitor, it seems like. So at this point, everyone was trying to close on Niantanso. Look at how hard CLG tries to dive into him. It's just a matter of Claky D getting the initiation. Aphromoo missed his crescendo on Niantanso in that fight, and it just allowed him to close out. You could see that Aphromoo was trying to zone him out before that fight, but the rest of his team wasn't to follow. And here comes the Spooky Ghost and the teleports. Niantanso hops in, and every time he gets a kill, he gets a new hop. Mega Zero, being the utility tank on the side, lets Niantanso come in through the back of it, and this was just really the biggest turning point of this game. The extended pentakill, as you say, coming in from Niantanso. Everyone chased him down, and this was when CLG was like, oh crap, what are we going to do now, guys?
I gotta say, that's such a good feeling. It's just like, king me, king me, king me, king me, king me, pentakill. And Niantanso really bringing it out again, showing that he really has the mechanics to go high farm, high kills late game, and has made an impact on Marm since the rostering of him.
So good. They just have so much on the line still. The very last game, they need help, right? They need, what was it, GGU and Vulcan to drop both of their games, and they also need to win their next one, but that's as close as you can come to being eliminated from the playoffs.
They kicked off the life support and were running strong that game. So coming up next, Martin Niantanso will join us at the desk to talk about their insane comeback win, and then Curse looks to climb back on top of the LCS when they take on Complexity. Don't click that mouse, because we'll be right back.